incredible honor to have Justin and Adam here to share your thoughts with us today. I can't thank you enough for being here. We have Adam Turman, artist, muralist, screen printer. Gosh, I've admired your work for so many years, Adam, from screen printing to the massive murals, and you just make Minnesota look so good. Justin Sutherland, Top Chef, Iron Chef, what? And bringing it all here to the Twin Cities. So thrilled that the patio dining is now open again, and with your recent move of Handsome Hog to the Cathedral Hill neighborhood, and also a recent announcement of another restaurant opening soon. Can't wait to experience both. So we have these two incredible artists bringing the creativity to the Twin Cities in different ways and inspiring us all greatly. With everything going on around us, I'm sure many moments have come up lately for you both that allow you to kind of rediscover your true purpose for creating and doing what you do for the greater good. And perhaps that's clearer than ever during these times. You both create things that provide joy and comfort and beauty and togetherness that are so important to others right now. So thank you. Thank you for doing what you do and for being here today. And as mentioned, we have the always amazing Jerrod Sumner here, moderating, AKA the Maker Whisperer, founder of Brand Tabulous, creative director of Rose and Loon, and aesthetic director of Minnesota Monthly. Thank you, Jerrod. Love that you're able to be here again to just moderate this wonderful conversation. Two quick things, guys, before I hand it over to Jerrod. That you will notice in your panel, as you're listening to this conversation, there's a little Q&A tab at the bottom. Please submit questions. Like, do it sooner rather than later. Don't wait till the end, because we actually have a lot of great questions that people have submitted from social media or in different ways, even prior to now. So if you have questions, feel free to send them in the Q&A section, and we'll kind of get those over to Jerrod in hopes of getting as many as we can answered by the end of our time together. And then after the conversation, I'll hop back on and we have giveaways. We have good giveaways, good ones. So, all right, I'm gonna hand it over to you guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Molly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. Good morning, Lab. It's always a pleasure to join and share conversations. And I will echo what Molly said. The creative process is something that I explore with my makers and my clients all over the world. And it fascinates me how different it is and how there are so many commonalities. So I'm going to assume that those introductions cover you too, and people know who you are, and we are going to jump right in. You know, when you think about brand and what you're known for, you two, your names are attached to everything that you do. I mean, you sign every piece you make, Adam, and just in every restaurant has your name on it. And people know who you are based on the work that you do. So there are certainly times you have to be on when you don't want to be on, and times you want to be off, and how you turn it off and on, and how you tap into your creative process. So let's kind of dive right in. You know, Justin, how do you go from empty dinner plate or blank menu to where you are with a restaurant? And same thing with you, Adam. Kind of how do you go from blank canvas to something wonderful to put into the world?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I mean, the whole dining experience is kind of an all-encompassing art, you know, from the food that goes on the plate to, I think your experience starts when you walk in the door. You know, you eat with your eyes first. It's about the ambiance. So, you know, what I really enjoy about restaurants, I mean, outside of the food, is really designing these, you know, all-encompassing guest experiences that start with the plateware, with, you know, with the lighting, with the entire design. So, I mean, there's art that's starting in my world before you even sit down and order anything. As far as turning it off and on, I don't know that it's ever really turned off. I think, you know, gathering inspiration all the time from different places, even when you don't really want to be, you know, it's just part of the way our minds work, I think.
Yeah.
I could not agree more. Could not agree more with that, especially about that on and off part. I mean, you know, even when the day is done, you know, in theory we work from 9 to 5, but let's be honest, I'm never working 9 to 5. Right. You know, I think of some of my greatest ideas, I think, you know, in the moment, and that could be like taking a shower. That could be, you know, on a bike ride. It could be on the commute to work, whatever. So and that's what I think that a lot of my clients are even paying for. They might not understand that part of it, but they, it's like that percolating part. There's some book called, I think it's called Orbiting the Giant Hairball.
Yep, that's it.
You know that
From
one?
Hallmark. Yeah.
Right? And so, and I read that, and there's cows chewing the cud, and those are the creatives. And the creatives, like, they don't look like they're doing much, but man, they're making that milk. It's percolating in there, and it's going to come out, and they're doing it. So I thought that was a great analogy. I've been using that a lot lately because it's a very strange time, and we've been trying to get creative and stay on the top of people's mind, and also trying to bring, like Molly was saying, bring some comfort back into some really unstable stuff that's going on all around us. So.
Mm-hmm. I think when you think about the process, I know, Adam, you like to plan things out. I know, Justin, you like to escape to a beach with some pile of cookbooks and stuff and plan your next big venture. But what elements are repeatable? What do you always call upon in your talent, in your soul, to just know when you've got it's 10-10, when you got to get shit done? What do you call upon to make that happen? What's repeatable that you do?
I mean, for me, I think there's certain elements of, like culture, heritage, and just things that are, on brand for Justin that I always try and make these connections to. Whenever I'm coming with a new dish, restaurant concept, design, I always get inspired by outside elements, whether it's, a taste, a smell, a painting that I saw, or just a feeling, and then try and how do I, turn that, how do I make that edible? How do I connect that to, I really love Japanese flavors. I really love Southern flavors. And sometimes I'll find things that are completely, the opposite of that. And then it's, the fun for me is kind of finding that link and how do I, turn that into me.
And when you talk about culture, I mean, we have such a duty to honor our roots, to tell the story of those that have walked before us, and to tell the story of those that are walking side by side with us now. And I think that comes through our creative outlets. I think the greatest legacy we leave behind will be born out of our creative efforts. So Adam, same question. What do you use that's kind of repeatable that you call upon?
I do have some design elements that I tend to use a lot, but I think it's kind of my style. I think that it's a little bit of the tone of my work. And I think that's what I've kind of cultivated, and people think about when they think of my work. So they might think of like that bold graphic style that's really thick outlines and bright bold colors. So I try to bring that in. However, I'm also, I'm being hired as a commercial artist oftentimes. So I'm also looking at that client's brand and what makes sense for them. So yes, it's my work, but they're hiring me to do, work for them. And I'm picking on my client work right now. My other artwork, I'm fortunate in that I love what I do anyway, for clients. So when I'm making my own work, it oftentimes looks like it's almost client work too, because that's my style and that's what I do. So I'm very fortunate in the fact that, clients and people are hiring me to do what I already do and love to do. And I know that. And so I never try to take that for granted. I don't know, hopefully that answers your question, but like that, the canned answer is that bold graphic, dynamic color, bright color style.
Bold flavor, bold color. It works for both of you.
There you go.
All right. So when you think about kind of moving into that act of collaboration, where you have to enroll others in what your creative process is, how much of it is to please others, and how much can you hold on to who you are as a chef and as an artist? And sometimes you just have to say no and walk away.
I think what you ended there with is huge, and being able to say no and walk away is a huge piece of it. In my world, whatever my art or whatever it is that I'm doing, twofold. It's judged immediately. It's the second it hits a plate, from the second it hits a table, from the way it looks. You with your eyes first, from the presentation, then to the food. I mean, they've already immediately started judging your artwork the second it hits the table. So, I mean, you're definitely conscious of that. And also you have to create something that's repeatable. I design a recipe, I design a plating, I come up with an idea, but after the first run, I have to make sure that 10 other people can do it 100 times a night the exact same way that I've done it. So, I mean, taking that into consideration too, and realizing that it's not me that's going to, unfortunately, I don't get to cook every plate of food for you. I wish that I could. But, I have to create something that somebody else can then replicate exactly the way that I would.
Yeah. And what do you do? Have you had those moments where something just wasn't right, where you thought this is the dish that everybody's going to order and it just doesn't work? What do you do then?
I mean, every day. I mean, for every good item that you see on a menu, there were 30 that came before it that you will never see. And sometimes it's just, from conception to execution, it just doesn't work out. I mean, I'll play around with it and, taste it. And then the second someone else makes it, I'm just like, no, this isn't going to happen. And then it goes away. I mean, I'm not going to hold on to something that just, for pride's sake, just because I thought it was a good idea. Sometimes things just don't work and then they disappear and we're back to the drawing board.
Yeah, but Justin, do you sometimes because of your experience now and making all this food and seeing like what's successful and what's not, do you bring that into what new plates you might be making?
I would say yes and no. There's certain things I know just are never going to work. So, I mean, after just trial and error, you're like, all right, that's not going to happen. But I also try and not, bring in, carry in some predispositions, pre-thoughts, because, that kind of stifles the creative process. If you're going into it saying, no, this isn't going to work. This is, I try and really not have a direction. It's like I said, it comes from an initial inspiration, whether it's something I ate somewhere else, whether it's something I read, smelled, saw, but if you come in already, trying to think about what not to do, I think you cut off half of the process.
Yeah. Yep.
What's the one Southern thing that Minnesotans don't get? I think okra is one of them.
Okra for sure. I would say okra, collard greens, and grits.
Yeah. But you're doing a good job teaching them how to appreciate that over there.
Doing my best.
Adam, kind of same thing. How do you enroll others in that creative process? And what do you do when it fails? Like, have you ever presented client work and they're like, hey, that's not it, or you just painted the perfect babe and somebody says, hey, that doesn't look like what I think babe should look like?
It does take a little wind out of your sails, that's for sure. Because I like to have a brainstorm session with the client. I like to get to know who they are. I mean, and let's be honest, like some of my favorite clients, I mean, we're just friends now. I've got to know them and we just love what each other does. And those are some of my favorite people that I work with. And also, it's that first time of working with somebody that you're trying to figure it out. It's kind of like dating, even though I haven't done that in years and years and years. So I never did it well anyway. So anyway, but now after this relationship has been built, it's things come across much more easily. It's really fun. To answer a question though, before that, what I tend to think of when I'm making new art or when I'm making, especially more personal art that I would take to like an event that wouldn't happen at this point right now, it would be something like, I think of hangability. And so what that means to me is I'm making a piece of art that not only I like, but someone else likes enough to purchase it and then actually frame that piece and put it up in their home. And when somebody puts artwork up in their home, at least for me on my level, we have artwork that we just hang and it's never coming down. I mean, it's just, unless something crazy happens where we find something even better, but typically, I mean, the work hangs for decades, in the house. And that's a real honor to be a part of that. When someone purchases something that they love enough from you that they want to continue to have in their daily, that's awesome. So yeah. I really am thinking about that a lot when I'm creating new work. That can kind of almost, it doesn't take the creative freedom away from me, but I'm definitely thinking about the other person quite a bit.
And it's the exact opposite for me because I'm judging it on how fast it disappears.
Totally.
And hoping they come back to get it again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How many sketches are there before something's ready to be let go into the world, Adam? One.
Well, it depends. I mean, Jerrod,
Let's leave it at one. That sounds sexy.
I know, right? Well, it typically with like our, and again, I'm going back to client work, but our process is such that it's one sketch, and that sketch is based on that creative process that I start with the client to begin with, that brainstorm session, those conversations. It might be a couple. It might be one quick conversation. It might just be over email. It might just be text. I mean, but sometimes it's like, okay, okay, I've heard enough. It could be like, it all just depends on how involved that client wants to be, how much trust they put in me. Some clients, like, they're like, he's got it, whatever. They give me almost no direction. I just recently had a mural that went up in Raleigh Health in downtown Minneapolis. And I never talked with the client. I talked with the client liaison, and that process was extremely fast. I got great direction. I think that the client trusted me to do what I do. We showed them some different pieces of work from other projects. They kind of picked a style that they liked, and then we went forward with that, and it was super fast. I've had other clients where we're on round 7, here we go. And they kind of keep racking up, sketch fees and things like that. But ultimately, we ended up with a great product at the end. I mean, that's what we want ultimately, as at least for me, as as a creative. I want to be happy with the work, but I also want who's ever I'm working with to be extremely happy with the work too.
I think that, so, you said trust, and there's so much trust. There's trust between the people that you work with. There's trust between the clients and the diners. And I think trust is an integral part to the creative process. Justin, one of the things we learned with Diane is all of her wonderful desserts start with a sketch. And she said, because I know what apples taste like. I know what basil tastes like. I don't need to go in the kitchen. So where does your process start? Does it start in the kitchen? Does it start in your head? Does it start, what kind of kicks you off?
To be completely honest, it usually starts in the shower. That's like that's my brainstorm booth. I think my best ideas come in the shower from a dream. To be completely honest. And then it's kind of, and again, same with Diane. I mean, I know what all these things taste like. I've tasted them a million times. I've tasted most of these combinations together. So it's really trying to figure out, digging deep in your database and coming up with something new from, from stuff that you've already had.
Okay.
And then for me, it's like once it's perfect, it usually goes away. I don't like as soon as I feel like something on a menu is absolutely perfect, then I'm bored with it, and then it's time to do something different.
All right. Finish a statement for me, Adam. As an artist, I want to be known for.
My canned answer for that is, making people happy with the work.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. That's why I do what I do. I love to make smiles on people's faces. I love it. And I like people to get fired up and just be super stoked about it. And again, that's one of those things like that. What is that, dopamine? It's that dopamine rush from the state fair that we're not getting this year. Right. It's like, oh, man, I mean, like we have a staff now that works the state fair, if the state fair was happening. And I'm only allowed to be there for like 4 hours at a time because I distract people too much. But people basically want to talk, and they just want to tell me what they like. And I have to be honest, it feels really good. I really like it. And that maybe that's selfish of me, but that just gives me drive to keep on doing what I do. I love it.
I think it goes back to, we communicate in stories, and anything that they eat at your restaurant or they hang on your walls is them sharing your story and your process. Same question, Justin. As a chef, I want to be known for.
I mean, is almost very similar to what Adam said. I mean, I was going to say smiles. I mean, 100% of what I do. I mean, my favorite part of the, of the dining experience is leaving the kitchen, walking the dining room, you know, I'll just go out and find my vantage point and just, you know, just scan the room and see these smiles. Or, you know, just when you walk into a restaurant, I think, you know, most good things that happen in our life happen over a meal, happen, you know, problems are solved, problems are left at the door. You walk in, you have a drink, and, you know, it's just this community, and just being able to see all these smiles that were created based upon, you know, the hard work that, you know, behind the scenes that my staff does. It's just, yeah, it's just amazing to have a place that people can come, let go, forget the world is nuts right now, but let's have a good drink, good meal, and you know, be with friends.
Yeah. All right, follow up for you. How much of being a chef is in your head, and how much of it is in your mouth and your taste and those senses?
I think it starts off with your senses as you're, you know, as you're honing them, as you are developing your own style, as you're learning. I mean, being a chef is constantly learning. I mean, every single day I'm learning about a new, you know, flavor combination. But I think it starts very much, you know, in your palate. But for me, it's very much in my head now. I know, you know, I have a Rolodex of things that are already up there, so it's very cerebral for me at this point.
Yeah. Now, music. Adam, you got your start doing a lot of concert posters.
Yep.
Do you listen to music while you paint?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What do you listen to?
Okay, so my music has been quoted as being human bug spray. So I turn it on, and people go away. It's awful, terrible stuff, and it's the best stuff in the whole world. It's so it's like garage pop, power pop, punk rock, just down and dirty stuff. There's a program on KFAI called Modern Kicks. If you guys ever listen to KFAI Modern Kicks, it's on like Tuesday nights at like midnight to 2. Again, because, you know,
Not my time.
Right. So, so if you ever listen to that, that's the kind of shit that I listen to. I love it. It's really down and dirty. It's made in, a lot of it's made in a garage, believe it or not. Like tapes are coming back, and there's like tape trades and stuff, and that's what they're on, and like a lot of vinyl releases. But my Spotify account has a lot of the stuff that I can still find, but it's punk rock. And then my favorite band of all time is, of course, Iron Maiden, but you know, but they're not very punk rock, and that's typically what I listen to all day long. So
a goody dino boy who likes Iron Maiden.
Yeah, it's fast and fast and fast. It just keeps me going, and I don't really listen to slow stuff. I do that when I get home with my girls, but other than that, you know.
All right, now Justin, I hear that you make music. Is that right?
No, I mean, I've made a few noises in my life, but I love music. I mean, music is, I mean, next to food is my absolute favorite thing. I mean, from going to shows to just, I mean, music is always a constant in my life. It's mandatory in my kitchens. It's a big part of my creative process. And yeah, I mean, live music is the number one thing that I could give everything else up for quarantine. The number one thing I'm missing right now is live music.
Totally.
Okay. What do you listen to?
You know, I probably have in ridiculously eclectic, you know, taste in music. It depends on the mood. I mean, I listen to a lot of Gary Clark Jr. Listen to a lot of Prince. Listen to a lot of Wu-Tang. I'm all across the board.
Okay, good. All right, we're going to go to some questions. Some have popped up that I can see. And gentlemen, we have been asked for a little tattoo show and tell from the two of you.
Oh boy.
We'd only get this from the boys, so let's see what you get, guys.
You want to start it out, Justin?
Sure. Full sleeve on this side, very traditional Japanese kind of style. My grandma's from Japan. Her favorite flowers are peonies and chrysanthemums, so this is kind of a just kind of a tribute to the Japanese kind of side of the culture. From the hands to this side, or to make sure that I never fill out a job application again or ever taken too seriously. This is all of my silly things, from Towley to slices of pizza to Batman, Dark Side of the Moon, yeah. Mario Brothers, Wu-Tang. It's just all my silly, guilty pleasures that make sure that this is what I'm doing the rest of my life, because I'm not walking into an interview.
Right.
All right, and you've got a delicacies, a thick cut bracelet on, don't you?
What's that?
Do you have a delicacies bracelet there? The hog, yeah. So that's a great Minnesota company.
It is. They're phenomenal.
They give back, and they're just great. So it's delicacies. You guys should check them out.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah. All right, Adam, let's see it. What do you
All
got?
right. Well, most of my work, well, all of my work has been done at Uptown Tattoos. So this is bicycle related stuff.
Nice.
And, kind of goes up here, and there's a devil riding a stingray here. So this is all bicycle stuff on that side because I like bikes. Bikes are cool. And then this is all pirate related stuff. So there's a Kraken sea monster back here, and like a diver's helmet, and then I've got some jellyfish here, and this was done by a guy who now lives in Amsterdam. So he used to work at Uptown too. And then on my back, I've got an eagle, and then I've got, this is for Justin, I've got a cheeseburger and crossbones done in Zorlak style.
Nice.
That one of my favorite artists, Pusshead, did for Metallica, or he did for Zorlak skateboards back in the day, and then Metallica started using them for their stuff. So
Awesome.
yeah, cool stuff.
I got a Bob's Burger cheeseburger on there somewhere.
Oh, nice.
And a pickle Rick.
Nice. I met the craziest artist in Iowa is the gentleman who did the Van Halen cover art with the baby, and the baby was his neighbor, and he did the Prince Purple Rain font and all that. He's from California, but he lives in Iowa now because his grandkids are there, and it's just the craziest thing to see, like all the people that have got tattoos of his work. So that all this reminds me of that. Now, Justin, do you have the obligatory whisk or chef's knife or something like that?
I do. That was my first tattoo ever. I actually got it when I graduated from culinary school to make sure that I didn't quit. I was like, if you get this tattooed on you, I guess you're gonna have to be a chef. So
yeah. All right, gentlemen, we'll get serious here for a minute, and then we'll to wrap up and kick off some more questions. But besides just this wonderful pandemic that we are all living in, it is troubling times for other reasons as well. And you both address that in your work. Justin, you wear proudly on the hat that you have. Adam, you painted that mural in Uptown. And I think that we can't go without talking creative process and talking about the times and the place that we live in without addressing that. So if you have something to say, let's say it now, because I think your voices carry far and wide. And I want to hear about that hat. I know it, but let's talk about that hat, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, it's a horrible time, and it's unfortunately not a unique time. I mean, it's stuff that we has been plaguing us for decades and centuries, and it all just kind of compounded on Minneapolis, and we've really become kind of a linchpin of a movement. So without it's been kind of difficult for me to to try and put attention towards my artwork and restaurants and personal stuff when there's so many other things going on in the world that are of such greater importance and need the attention. But then also as artists and creatives, we have almost a greater responsibility to help. Yes, we need to be fully constantly engaged in what's going on, if we want to achieve this change, but people still need some sort of relief. We still need smiles. We still need happiness. So, I mean, there's a balance between, fighting the fight and also being able to provide this, escape for people, because we can't just constantly be bombarded with this crazy world that's around us, So, Adam's art, my food, just whatever experiences we can create for people to give them some small piece of release. As far as the hat, my brothers and I have a clothing company called Hybrid Nation. Socially conscious streetwear is kind of, the overall tagline of it. It's kind of our motto: in diversity we trust. We kind of came up with to, kind of be the anti-other hat. And that's just really what we stand behind, is that, everything in this world is better because of diversity. It's better because of, the creative process that is America, that everybody came together to do. So.
Yep. Good. Adam, you painted that powerful mural in Uptown.
Mm-hmm.
What did that mean to you?
Well, it was just something that I just felt like I had to do. Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, for my role and seeing who I am, I mean, for me, it's been education. It's been trying to listen. trying to get as much out of what happened so that I can reflect on myself and see how I can help change and also spread a message. And Uptown Association sent out an email about, art healing and helping, just painting those boards. And I felt like in the moment that was something that I could do. And then, I was like, what kind of message can I send? I'm not quite sure. And am I the right person to do this and all this stuff? But I just went for it. I did it. Hopefully it, people could get something out of that. And, when I was painting it, people were going by like, I love it, and thank you. And so I felt like I was doing at least something right. And, so that was my way of, being a part and trying to help out a little bit.
So I started this conversation saying that the thing we leave behind, our legacy, will be born out of creativity. And you two gentlemen are doing a fine job leaving a legacy behind, telling the story of Minnesota, highlighting its folklore, and telling your story, Justin, of the family that's inspired you, this place we call home. You both are very proud of where you came from and your roots. And I think that that's something that we have to do as creatives to honor that. So I thank you for joining us. Let's have some final plugs about where they can find you and follow you and all those things. And then we have some more questions to get through here. Justin, you want to start? We got Handsome Hog and everything else.
Yeah. We just relocated Handsome Hog up to the Cathedral Hill. Went from 66 seats to over 300 with our new 120 seat patio, which just helped with the distancing and being outside. So super excited about that new space. Now with my new partner, Brian Ingram of Hope Breakfast Bar, him and I have both taken over the old Happy Gnome, which is now the Gnome, that will open the 27th. And then we also just took the old In Bloom space in the Keg and Case Market, and we'll be doing a wood-fired cantina concept called Elotes, building a huge patio out there too. I'm really just trying to take advantage of this outdoor space with as much of the summer as we have left. So yeah, the Gnome coming here on the 27th of this month, Elote 27th of next month, and Handsome Hog is fully active. All of our in Diversity We Trust and all of our Hybrid Nation clothing at hybridnationclothing.com. It's charity based as well. We give right now, proceeds are going to George Floyd Foundation. And feel free to follow me on Instagram at Chef Justin Sutherland and kind of keep up to date with everything we're doing.
It's quite the portrait of a chef that you have going on that feed. It's good. All right, Adam, your turn.
Let's see. Well, it's adamturman.com. T as in turtle, URMAN. And then I basically, like, if you go to Google and Google my name, you'll probably find me. And then cool things we have going up. One thing we'd love people to do is jump onto our newsletter email list. We've got some really cool things brewing coming up here in the next few weeks, and some pre-sale stuff that I can't talk about right now, but we're really excited to really soon. And then, we just did some collaboration stuff with Leatherworks Minnesota with these posters, and then we've got masks. So I've been, these were kind of a long time coming, but we had no idea that masks would do so well, because like, who wants to wear a mask? But they've been really.
We don't have a choice anymore, Adam.
Right, I know, which is, which I think is a good thing. I mean, I'm scared to go out anywhere, so I put a mask on wherever I go out, and staying safe right here. But anyway, adamturman.com. I'm at Adam Turman on Instagram, and we love to see people, and we're just love to make people happy. So there you go.
Good. All right, let's kick off some questions. How do you stay creative when you're unmotivated? Either of you.
I guess I'll take that real quick. If I'm unmotivated, man, it's tough. I think I need to do some self-care or something. And that might mean going on a bike ride. It might mean just like switching gears up, like standing up and going and doing something. However, that also depends on how long that duration is. Is it like in the moment, or is it, you know, for like a period of time? You know, like I remember having like just being kind of burnt out for a while. Like even, I think it was like maybe after I got out of college or something. That was a while ago, but it was like 6 months of just like, you know, like wasn't into things. And then it's just like checking out things that I just always have loved. You know, like we were talking about tattoos earlier. Well, a lot of those images and a lot of things I draw are just based on the things that I grew up with that I've always loved. Mm-hmm. You know, Thrasher magazine, album covers, music, things like that. So I just kind of do some self-care and just try to switch those gears a little bit, shift it into sixth or reverse or something, and just figure out what's going on.
Okay. What about you, Justin?
You know, I'm a big believer that you can taste emotions, and I think, you know, if I'm not feeling it, or even if any of my chefs and cooks, I mean, if you're coming in with baggage and, you know, you're not fully there, I think you can taste it. I think food tastes different when it's cooked with love, when it's cooked from a place of, you know, of peace and just, you know, peacefulness. So if I'm not feeling creative, I like Adam said, I need to just stop, let it go, detach, you know, try and figure out within myself why I'm not feeling motivated. You know, and that's usually listening to music, going to a show, going to the gym, or just, you know, trying to detach from, you know, from that piece of work for a moment, and then it eventually becomes not work, and then, you know, it starts flowing, and that's when you know when it's right, but you can't force it.
Yeah, like hanging out with your friends, you know, like
right.
I have a whole group of friends that are not artists.
Yep.
And they're the ones I grew up with that I knew in high school, and they're still my best friends. And we'll just like go snowboarding. We'll go play a round of golf with, like, you know, just super crappy golf, and it's super fun, and it just recharges you. Just feels good. Get rid of that other stuff, try something else, move on.
Yep.
All right. So, Justin, you've mentioned your family. We know you honor your grandmother and your parents, and you work with your brothers too. I'm going to read this because it's good. I know Adam has 2 amazing daughters and a kick-ass wife.
That's true.
Who wrote this, but that's what they said. So for both of you, Adam and Justin, how do you incorporate family into what you create and your business without making the family feel like they're pulled into it?
You know, I mean, I'm wife and childless. My restaurants are my kids. So, but I'm extremely close with my immediate family. You know, my parents. You know, luckily my grandmother's still with us. My brothers. So I spend a lot of time with my family. And you know, that's really where my love of cooking came from. I was always in the kitchen with both my grandmothers. You know, I have an African American grandmother with, you know, roots from Mississippi. I've got a grandma straight from Japan. So I mean, just food was their love language. And I was, you know, just always hanging out in the kitchen with them. And, you know, family is very, very important to me. Luckily, they don't have to live with me, so they don't have to feel the wrath of the restaurant life.
Totally, yeah.
You, Adam, how do you not drag that amazing daughters and that kick-ass wife into your business?
Well, I say that because they support the living hell out of me. I mean, they're just the best. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without my wife being like, okay, you need to quit your day job. You're not happy. Let's put a budget together. You know, and she was able to go. This is when we had kids. They were really little, and then you know, I was working a day job for, you know, 12 years as an in-house graphic designer, and you know, just at the end of it, it was like, okay, I gotta change gears, right? Like we were just talking about. And she was the supporter on that. And she's always been really good on that. Also, she's a good sounding board for when I make something and then I'll show it to her. And she is not, my wife and my daughters are, you know, my daughters are a little bit more artists than my wife. And I think that she would agree with that. But they're my sounding board for if I have a new thing coming up, a new project, new idea, like, what do you guys think of this? And they are brutally honest with me. And I love that. And the same thing with my studio manager, Sarah. She does that too. You know, she'll tell me what's up, you know, and sometimes it's hard to hear, but it's something that you got to hear. And I surround my people who support me. And that's what my dad's always said too. Like, surround yourself with people who support you and who are better than you at what you do. And they will only bring you up.
Yep.
So I try to do that in life as much as I can. And you know, I also work, like I was saying earlier, I work with some of the best people in the whole world who they started out as clients, and now they're friends. And I mean, what more could you ask for, really?
I think I read somewhere, Justin, you said that when you find the right line cook or you find the right worker in the restaurant, you treat them well and they stay with you.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, luckily, I mean, we're on year 5 of Handsome Hog, and I still have, you know, almost 75% of our opening staff,
Yeah, that's great.
which is unheard of in the restaurant industry. It's very transient. So, I mean, like Adam, I mean, my number one thing that my grandfather and my father always instilled in me is, surround yourself with people better than you, and, and learn from them, lean on them, and build them up. I would be nowhere without my team, and I know where my shortcomings are, and I always try and fill those holes with people who are good at the things that I'm not. So, I mean, we're a collective, we're a unit. It couldn't happen, without any of the other people on my team. So,
Yep.
So true.
All right, Molly, do you want to jump on, or can I ask one more quick question?
If it's quick, Jerrod.
All right. It's from a viewer, from Courtney, and it was one I was going to wrap up with anyway. Can you both quickly address how living in Minneapolis or Minnesota or the Midwest influences your creative process? And, do you find it limiting? I mean, a lot of times when I work with somebody, they're like, oh, you're in the middle of the country. And I'm sure, Justin, you get lured away or lots of offers, but, both of you are proud of calling this home. And how does it influence your work?
I love Minnesota. I love St. Paul. I love Minneapolis. I try to, represent it the best that I can. I think we have from arts to food to theaters to, we have a pretty amazing state here that I think, has been overlooked for a while. I think we're starting to get more of the recognition. But I'm also okay with being a little hidden Midwest gem. We don't need everybody coming here. Let's keep our secret. There's definitely been education, I think, over the course of the last 10 years as kind of the food scene and dining scene has grown. I remember 15 years ago, a fancy dinner out was Olive Garden or Red Lobster. So, that was your special occasion.
That? No, I'm just
Nothing.
kidding.
That's my favorite. I'll take Cheddar Bay biscuits any day.
For days.
But it's a great place to be creative, and because I think we're not confined by any real stigma of what we're supposed to be, because we can kind of be whatever we want and constantly evolve that, create that, collaborate with other people. And I think what Minnesota is constantly changing based upon the conversations that we're having now.
Good.
Totally agree.
All right.
Justin and I are just going to agree on everything. How about that?
This has been easy for me.
Right, totally. But I think there's a humbleness that's around with the Midwest too. I mean, I've been able to be a part of some projects that have, they're more widespread through the coasts, and I just felt like it just felt so good to come home, and and kind of be along with the Midwestern values and the Midwestern kind of feeling. Do I feel that do I feel like, yes, I'm like the Midwestern bumpkin or whatever a little bit, maybe a little bit, but.
No.
But like when I'm with those people, but that is not who I am, and that's not who I want to be. And I love the Midwest. I love all the silly little things that we do, and calling hot dish, right? And you betcha and oofta and 2-3 things, and whatever the little sayings are. And I love all of that, and I try to bring that into my work, and also to try to share that with even a broader audience if I can. I mean, of course, I love to get out and get more national stuff, but the Midwest and Minnesota and Minneapolis, and I actually live in St. Louis Park, and I have office in Golden Valley. That's home.
Well, Adam, I have a giant wall on my new patio that is begging for a mural, so we need to connect after this, because it's
good.
I think you should be all over it.
I would love to do that.
I think you hit it when you said humble. I think the Midwest, there's a humbleness, there's a gratitude, and there's a work ethic. I have a sticker on my computer that says Midwesterners, we get shit done and we look damn fine doing it.
Ooh, I need that.
Like, that's what it's about. Like, it's just, we get it done. And when I talk to people on the coast, that's one of the values that they see in the work that I do, that I do what I say I'm going to do. I do it on time. And that's what I learned from my family. So, that's it. It's a good call home.
Yep. Right on.
All right, Miss Molly, take us away.
Thank you, guys. I just have to say thank you for the smiles today. There were many. That was fantastic. We're going to just go into some visuals here to show the giveaways, which I think are popping up somewhere. There we go. Doo-doo-doo. Okay, giveaway time. We have some fantastic giveaways, of course, all local people and businesses. The first one that we're going to be doing, I believe, if we go to the next slide, is the Ripple Votive from Hennepin Made. Ta-da! If you guys don't know, well, first of all, Hennepin Made has been an incredibly supportive business for us in Lab Talks when we have been holding it in real life at the Holden Room, which is all kind of part of it's Parallel Cafe, the Holden Room, and Hennepin Made. They've been an incredible partner in Lab Talks, and their team is, they're amazing creatives, and they came up with the Ripple Votive during COVID-19 and was designed to create this ripple effect of positive change. And 10% of the net proceeds will be donated to Second Harvest Heartland and their Minnesota Central Kitchen program. So the winner for that is Emily Thielman. So Emily and everyone else who's going to be winning these giveaways today, we will reach out to have your information because you showed up today. So we'll be connecting with you via email with your winnings. And we have the Addington Tote. So these totes are made by such a fantastic creative and lover of the outdoors, Chip Addington. He's been one of our Lab Talks panelists actually in the past. And if you haven't seen his totes, they're stunning. Super special in a variety of like different styles. So winner is, do we all like do a drum roll, you guys? Jody Hoberg.
Ooh.
Yay. And speaking of just like beautiful made, handmade quality, Justin, I know you're a huge fan of these BA Craft Made aprons. Katie Myers, the mom of chefs that, you know, working with her sons, they're like, Mom, I need an apron that really is more functional than the ones that are out there. And that Midwestern mom did it, and so many chefs and the entire front of house and so many people in the restaurant industry are loving what she is creating. So we have an apron to give away. Da-da-da, drum roll, Taylor Okeson. I hope I'm saying everyone's names correctly. Okay, great. And then, okay, Adam. Oh, they are here. Good. I couldn't remember if they were actually in there, but here are the real life prints that Adam's giving away. Adam, do you want to share just briefly, if I think we have time to do it?
Yeah, I'll try to make this fast. This is Grateful that's based on our Minnesota photograph Grace, and I put in, of course, Paul Bunyan and a few other things that, you know, people would recognize, you know, as far as Minnesota things, and then because Grateful did so well, I did Graceful too. And so this is our hot dish girl character. And then, of course, we've got a Nordic ware bunt pan and, you know, lady slipper and all sorts of fun stuff. So
can I win this one?
Oh, it's so good.
We'll contact each other later. How about that? No
Okay,
problem.
Lindsay Decker's the giveaway. Woohoo! And then we have gift certificate to Handsome Hog. Yay, yay. Enjoying that new outdoor patio. I think we also have a hat from Hybrid Nation, which Justin already talked about. He started it with his brothers, just an amazing socially conscious clothing brand. I don't know if we're going to announce both at once, so I want to make sure. Drum roll. Okay, Handsome Hog, do they get both? I think they must get both. Amazing.
That's up to you. Yeah, I get to get them both.
Yeah, so good. Okay, and I believe that's it, you guys. So very, very quickly, we have this is like the greatest month for Lab Talks because we have 2 Lab Talks in July. So join us again next Tuesday for How to Design for Life. We have incredible local interior designers that are on a panel with the editor-in-chief of Artful Living magazine, Kate Nelson. It's going to be a fantastic conversation. So join us again next week for that talk on Tuesday. It's kind of out of the norm. We're doing a Tuesday instead of Thursday next week. So you can go to our site, labmpls.com, to register. And we, as always, we'll send everyone who's joined today a follow-up email with kind of the stuff that we've learned, information for the next lab talks, and other goodies. So I want to thank you all so, so much. This is phenomenal. It's such a pleasure to meet you guys and to have this conversation with you both. I can't thank you enough for what you do every day and for all the smiles.
Thank you. It was just been a real pleasure. And Justin, it's great to meet you virtually.
You as well.
And Jerrod and Molly, thank you for everything you do. And this has been a blast for me, so appreciate it. Thanks.
Sure. Good. Well, everyone, enjoy this beautiful day. Wow, it's gorgeous out there.
Come sit on a patio.
Be safe. Yes. All right.
Go ride your bike. See ya.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.